And then you do that for every kid, for every year. Or you give them a check and you make them sign it and you make them give it back to you, which is what I recommend, right? And then it's because it's your money. But that's ways to accomplish that, because you can, gifts between adults are tax-free. Seek professional advice. But there's really cool ways, and they're not that common, and they do all sorts of different stuff. So make sure that when you're dealing with your advisors, they can put it on a page, they can draw it, they can explain it in English, and you can explain it back to them. That's your responsibility. Okay, so that's in terms of structure. So in terms of business model, these are the pieces that, and then what you do for each of these sections here, part of this is the strategic planning process I take clients through. This is part of Business Owner Scorecard. There's resources on my website, or you can email me and I can send you the report for that. So what are your goals? What are your critical success factors? So what do you have to get right? So if your goal is speed, then a critical success factor is you need competent people and equipment, so you need training and all that latest stuff. What is the KPI? How do you measure the critical success factor? Well, did they go through training? Can they demonstrate the skill? Does the machine work? What's its uptime? What other resources might you need? What are the obstacles that we need to deal with? And what's the action plan? Who's doing what by when? So with a small, like size 10 or size 11 font, you get it on one page. And away you go. It's one page to run your business across, okay, in terms of people, in terms of operations, in terms of customers and marketing, and in terms of financial. And that's a really good business model for your business. Okay, wide open, questions and answers. Or questions and more questions. What would you like to know about your business or a friend's business?
We are starting to put people in place as a recommendation by some consultant I know. And how do we motivate that person to do more than I think I'm expecting them to do?
Anybody else sort of have a question? How do we motivate people to do more?
Not to do more, but to take more of an interest in the business that will allow him to grow without me having to stand over it.
Okay.
And push him and instruct him.
Okay.
How do I get there?
Okay. Would somebody grab that door, please? Thanks, Jeremy. There's 3 levels of motivation. One is the fear or the stick, often referred to as the parental model. 2 is peer pressure. What happens when they're teenagers and the stick doesn't work anymore? Okay. And then the third, and the only valid one, because this is only when that's there or when that's there, motivation is intrinsic. So how you motivate them, in my opinion, is you go through some of these processes and have these discussions so that they connect their role with the role to help customers and help growing business and all the pieces of the puzzle, right? So if they're not just looking at this, but they understand how everything's connected. But you can't motivate people, they can only motivate themselves. You can give them environments that help them be motivated. You can give them information, you can participate. Like with every pair of hands, you get a free brain. So try and connect as much as you can with that brain.
What about compensation?
Compensation. There's lots of research that shows this, and I think in your experience you'll probably, that makes sense. Compensation is not a motivator. The absence of compensation is a demotivator. It's a hygiene factor. It needs to be there to a certain level, and then, okay, then it's not an issue. If it's, so at a basic level, that's important, right? It needs to be at a certain level. Now, a lot of companies have performance bonuses. And that I think GE's minimum bonus 10 or 12%, something like that, so that they reward as a percentage of base compensation, you can have about 10%. There's a lot of research out there that shows 20 to 30% is better. So if you can incent your employees for performance in that bonus, and it really needs to be team/company or part. Like you can go, the easy way is half and half. Half individual performance. If I do a good job, I get my share, and if the company does well, I get that share too. So that you've got this bonus tied to performance, tied to KPIs, away they go. Okay. Compensation is the easiest thing to change and the hardest thing to get right. And everybody's different. Right? Some want days off, some want parking spot, some want on and on. Do you have a question?
Actually, I think Greg answered. I mean, we use the compensation with incentive bonus.
Yep. Yeah. There's a steel company in the States, I can't remember who, their base wage is about 70–80% of market, but they have a bonus almost the same. So a lot of their people make 140% of the industry average wage. And when somebody new gets hired and stuck on a crew, they literally chase them off the property if they don't cut it, right? What's our compensation? It's all performance, right? We're entrepreneurs. It's all performance. So the more we can, and now people, not everybody's entrepreneurs, right? You want smart, hardworking people, but not everybody's going to have that independent streak. So you've got an opportunity to bring a lot of people into your business and reward them for performance, and some might be happy just cruising, that's fine. So it's managing is about having that personal relationship on an individual level, so you know what makes the person tick, as you know, and then giving them all the things that you can within your flexibility to accomplish that. This is the one I couldn't draw today, so we'll save that for next time. So, thank you very much for your participation and attendance at this first BusinessWise seminar. And I leave you with two questions. Why are you in business doing what you do? And what can you do today? What's the next step to help you take your business to be world class? Thank you very much.